everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Performance Cafe Coffee Companions. And today I've got a new friend that feels like an old friend visiting us, and her name is Maryka Meldau. Now, Maryka is an organizational psychologist, and currently she's the group HR manager. She's the group HR manager at Roller Group. So Maryka's been in the HR space since 2006 as a coach and a consultant. And amongst others, she's completed projects in employee engagement, organizational design, psychometry, and organizational development. Amongst others, Maryka has worked at a couple of companies that we know. For example, PSG, Vodacom, the Top Employer Institute, and Discovery Health. And at this point in time, I cannot hold myself in anymore. Let's meet Maryka. Maryka, welcome to Performance Cafe.
Hi, Innocence. Thank you for having me.
That is only a pleasure. So today we're talking high performance, and I see behind you you've got a high performance car. So we're in the right space, right? That's one very pretty car. I would like one in blue and white and red, please. You know, the other 2 days I'll take another car.
Well, besides the stock issues that we have from time to time, I'm definitely sure we can arrange it for you. I'm sitting in Mercedes-Benz, one of our branches, and they've just recently actually won the CEO award of Mercedes South Africa. So I'm very excited about that as well. So yeah.
Congratulations to them. That is awesome. That's awesome. It's been a tough 2 years in South Africa, but in the motoring industry as well. Hey.
Yes, correct.
So, on the topic of performance, Maryka, let's jump right in. Sure. Talking about a tough 2 years, how COVID has come and changed our lives. What do you think is a good definition of performance right now?
Yeah, I think performance is very much dependent on the type of position and the requirements that you are looking at. So I think I think you need to understand or you need to decide what's the difference between performance and success. So performance can mean even at a theater, people are performing there, and you would also maybe say that someone who's just doing what they are expected to do is also performing because they are doing what you've said they must do. Success performance-wise for me is when I have set very clear expectations and the person have been able to exceed that. That to me is, really performance in the best sense of the word. And then also, I would personally say that performance is when you are in some sort of a flow, because then performance comes naturally. You're playing to your strengths, and then you are doing your best, but it doesn't feel like, you are really performing as such, because you are just doing what you enjoy doing. So, yeah.
Oh, yes. I'm assuming that you are referring to the work of Mihai Csikszentmihalyi when you speak of flow.
That's correct, yes.
Oh.
And Marcus Buckham regarding the strengths and Gallup. So that to me is also, I think it's crucial.
Wonderful. So I'm really hearing, I'm assuming that you sort of speak on behalf of the Roller Group. When I hear that, here's an environment where we're seeing a lot of positive psychology. People are being asked to play to their strengths. They're being kept in flow as far as possible. How did that come about? How did you bring that about? If we think the average company, doesn't actually focus on strengths, and flow, they're just about, well, I told you to do it, so just do it. How did you make that happen?
So the Roller Motor Group has actually been operational since 1963, and the two founding principles that the owner of the business, or the founder of the business, Laurie Claassen, basically based the entire development of this business on two founding principles. The two founding principles of Roller from Laurie Claassen was basically service is your best salesman, and then integrity in everything that you do. And that is also our entire Roller DNA and values are very strictly rolled out throughout the group. Each and every person in everything that we do, we go back to those founding principles, the DNA of Roller, which basically is relationships, opportunity, entrepreneurial spirit, the legacy, learning, and then of course achievement. So if we think of a lot of companies often say that you've got all of these values and we are values based and whatever, but you often find that people don't actually live and breathe and do those things in everyday work. And what we've done in Rola specifically is we make very sure that when we make a decision or we expect anything, that it's aligned with those DNAs and values that we hold. The values that we hold are that of respect and optimistic, and then learning, and then also accountability. So we've got the DNA on the one side and then the values on the other side. Then the third component that we also look at very strongly is job match. So we would often, if we see that someone's not really performing very well in their position, we firstly ask ourselves, what is the reason? Is it a competence
Mm.
issue? Is it a commitment issue? Is it a character issue? And what is that person's unique skills and strengths? And how much of his daily time does he get the opportunity to play towards his strengths? So if he doesn't, if he's not able to play to his strengths at least 70% of the day or his week, then the chances are very good that he won't be very successful in his job, and he would seen as not performing. So in the Roller Group, we are very fortunate to have 13 brands with 21 showrooms. So when someone's not working in a specific position, we try to determine by psychometric assessment what is the strengths of this individual, and then we try to find a place where he might be more suitable. You often find that people, actually have a footprint quite widely spread over the rural areas, platteland soos wat hulle nou maar sê.
Yeah.
And we, yeah, and we also we have that opportunity to move people around to make sure that the job fit is better for that individual talents, and the job requirements. So that's I think it's a bit of a mouthful of the one question that you've asked, but we definitely try to shift people
Mm.
around, and make sure that the person's character aligns with that of the values and the DNA that Rola holds very strongly
Mm.
since 1963.
That is amazing. So that's not even the best that I know that Rhoda does, because there's something else that's very close to my heart that you do. But before I ask you that question, and I'm prepared to edit this question out because we didn't prepare it, but I feel like it's such an important question. So please feel free to tell me, no, we're not going there. The history of South Africa often leads us to a point where people say, oh, certain sectors are lazy. People don't want to. They just want to pitch and get money. Have you guys sort of like shown or found a way that we can work against that? So do you find that actually this process of yours actually engages people more?
I think look, Rola is a retail company, and I find that in the retail space, there's not too much time to or space for you to hide away. So because you are frontline
Mm.
most of the time, customers in today's world, they very quickly give feedback, and they will say whether it's good or bad, and often more they'll advise when it was
Mm.
bad service than what it was good service. So you don't really get the opportunity too often to um, hide away as such,
Yes.
and being lazy. Amper half, in
Good.
Afrikaans, I would say, you can nie wegkruip nie.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
Rola also operates in the retail space, so there's not a lot of space for hiding away.
Mm.
And I think post COVID, during COVID, firstly, Rola was a company that we did look after all of our staff. We actually paid all our staff members in full. So I mean, Rola went to great lengths to ensure that we do it. I mean, we wiped out millions, but we took the decision, and I think again, it's based on the type of CEO and CFO that we've got
Mm.
living those values, that they
Mm.
realize people have got a lot of fear, they have a lot of uncertainty, and
Mm.
if we show our loyalty, then we know that we have got people that's been working for us for the last 30 years, 35
Mm.
years. So you don't get those things anymore. So, And then also, when we were able to start coming back to work, I mean, must also say that during COVID, we had people driving us insane, asking, "How can we help? What can we do? Please,
Okay.
can we work?" Those kind of things, because that's the kind of person that we employ at Rolla. We don't employ people who want to shy away and do lazy
Mm,
jobs. We want the
mm,
kind of, and we employ the kind of person who says, I can do more. I have capacity. How can I get involved? So
mm.
we are not a business that, and I think that also speaks to the kind of culture and speaks to, you talked about how do you get the people to be successful. We only employ people who have that kind of a mindset, who's not here to hide away and be lazy.
Mm,
So I don't think that's a type of culture that we really needed to overcome. We are very performance driven. We are very gentle on our people, but we are very hard on the people who's not performing. So
okay.
we are very direct. We have very tough, open conversations. We don't shy away. If you don't
Mm.
bring your parts and your skills to the table, trust me, we will have a conversation.
And this brings me to the next point. Thank you so much. That was a fabulous answer. Um, this brings me to the next point because Rola, and this is the reason why I'm going to just give up my business and come and work for you, you see, you have a really big culture of coaching. So I love what I'm hearing you say about having those difficult conversations and holding people accountable. But the other thing that I find fabulous is your approach and using coaching in the business. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, it's something that actually excites me tremendously. I've just ended a discussion that I had with one of our sales managers at our Volvo branch. And, Volvo was a brand that a lot of people shied away from. And now we are currently one of the top two performing in South Africa. And it's a small branch that we have here at our multi franchise in Somerset West, but they've really embraced the grow coaching model, which I'm passionate about,
Yes.
and they use it for absolutely every conversation. I think the big thing that, and for everyone who's worked with me when I consulted, will also know that I am Mrs. Grow model because I think it's the most
Mm,
versatile model that you
mm,
can use for anything. You can have it. It's nothing else but a conversation framework. And Grow is
mm,
so versatile because you can use it either for a performance discussion, or you
mm,
can use it for people development, or you
mm,
can use it to say, look, I see that you are late every day. What's happening in your life? Because Grow is
mm,
really just about, what is the goal of this discussion? That's the G. What is the reality? The R.
mm,
The O is for opportunity, and then the W is for wrap up. So basically, anything that you need to have a conversation around, when you
mm,
sit down with someone, you can literally use that framework and say, the reason I want to chat to you about today is I've seen you've been late a couple of times. What's currently happening in your life?
mm,
The person on the receiving side, if they or maybe shying away or trying to be lazy or whatever, they'll be uncomfortable with a conversation because
mm,
they'll realize I've been noted, something's been noted.
mm,
But if it's someone who's really struggling, that's also very beneficial because that person will feel the care. And I
mm,
personally am passionate. Another thing that I'm passionate about is that the three components for any sustainable relationship is respect, trust, and care. And if you have those conversations, the person who really needs help will feel the care, they will feel the respect, and they've given an opportunity to then have a conversation with you about what am I struggling with. And
mm,
I feel that any proper leader, not a manager, proper leader will embrace opportunities like that because a conversation is all it takes to
mm,
change someone's entire work environment. And so
mm,
often we shy away from those because we think we have a certain perception of how people will receive it, but you don't know.
mm,
And also, often you hear that people say, "Yeah, but I've been, he's not doing what he's supposed to do."
mm,
Have you had a conversation? Have you made it clear? No, he knows in his job description what's he's supposed to do.
mm,
It's not enough. When last have you sat down and said to him, "You're not meeting my expectations"?
mm,
And people who really are good performers welcome feedback. Like I said,
Mm.
feedback is food for champions. So to
Yes.
me, that's very important to have those conversations. And then that same person who's been late will then say, you know what, I'm struggling. Uh, my car is giving issues, or whatever the chances, whatever the story may be. Then you've got an opportunity to say, okay, how can the two of us resolve your issue? Because
Mm.
ultimately, your issue is my issue, and my issue is your issue. So, how
Yeah.
are we going to, as a team, resolve it so that I can ensure that we both achieve what we need to achieve and we are
Mm.
both successful in our position? And then you wrap up. It's a commitment. The wrap up is literally where you are getting the two parties on the same page and you're
Mm.
saying, we have agreed to, let's say, for example, it's someone who's late because taxi issues, and the
Mm.
opportunity was that the person gets up 30 minutes earlier. Then
Mm.
the wrap up conversation will be, okay, your commitment, I'll be your accountable party. Your commitment is to get up earlier, 30 minutes earlier every day, those
Mm.
kind of things. The coaching model helps the manager to become a true coach, because now what you've done is you've given the reality, the struggles that they have. You discuss opportunities, and then ultimately in the wrap up, you give the parties an opportunity to commit to the agreement. That creates mutual buy-in, and it creates mutual accountability. So if you've discussed certain opportunities that can work, the manager now becomes a true coach and leader, because both parties are sharing in the accountability to deliver on what was just agreed upon.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, with this coaching, so it sounds like coaching is like a regular day to day thing. It's not a once every while thing. How does that feed into things like performance management and stuff? Because we all know how bad it is to once a year get put down in a chair and told how bad you were when you can't remember half the things that happened 3 weeks ago, never mind a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so what we've done at Roller is we've actually stopped performance management as such within the group. We don't have those once a year or twice a year uncomfortable conversations where the manager pulls out everything that you've ever done wrong but never given you any feedback on it. We actually also waived KPIs for a short while after COVID. So what we have done is we've been very focused on being clear of our expectancies. So each and every person needed to very clearly understand what they need to focus on. So if I want to be successful, I need to be able to achieve X, Y, and Z. Okay. So in a way,
Mm,
you can still
mm,
say it's KPIs, but it's not all of these vague wish lists that managers
mm,
think up. It's very
mm,
focused. I need to deliver in the next 2 to 3 months. I need to deliver on X, Y, Z to be successful. And those
mm,
conversations we've had regularly. We've regularly said to someone, in your position, you need to focus on this or that or whatever. So we often have those conversations. And when someone is not, or it seems like they are not achieving what you expect them to achieve, the expectation is for you as a leader to sit down with the person to say, you are not achieving X, Y, and Z. What's happening? How can I, as a leader, coach and guide you
mm,
into, actually getting it right? Because a manager or a leader should be there as a thinking partner, someone who obviously keep you accountable. So if you're not doing stuff right, then they will keep you accountable. But they're also supposed to be there to be a thinking partner, to say,
mm,
I'm struggling with this or that. This is how I see it. Is it right? Is it not right?
mm,
You should also have almost like a thinking partner. If I don't have a good day and I'm struggling to be motivated, I need to be able to say to my leader or someone,
mm,
I'm struggling today. And then the other person should say, okay, so why are you struggling? Just by you
mm,
verbalizing something, you are kind of putting it out on the table. It's open for
mm,
discussion and it's there to be resolved. If you
mm,
don't discuss it, it's not being put onto the table, then you're sitting with something that it's harpering in someone's mind the whole day or the whole time. They're procrastinating. They don't actually get to something, to do something, because of what's going on in their mind. So the best way is to just put it out, put it on the
mm,
table, get a discussion going. And often people, the most uncomfortable conversations are often the conversations that we crave. They're in your mind anyway. You're thinking about it all the time anyway. So why not
mm,
have a conversation about it? And then
mm,
you don't have to have those twice a year long discussions of, negative things and people experiencing it negatively. You have frequent conversations. Every person knows exactly where they stand. You know whether you are achieving the results or not. If I
mm,
was set out to recruit 10 people, um, roll out a specific project, and we had a deadline of end of February, and I can see by the 15th of February I'm not going to reach it, then it's very clear that I'm not going to reach my goal. So when I eventually don't get an increase, or I don't get a bonus or whatever, there's no surprise, because I've had
yes.
regular conversations. I know
Mm,
I'm not making it.
mm,
But it
mm,
also has a shared responsibility on the leader to assist people to achieve their results. It's not just a thing from we expecting you to achieve X, Y, and Z, and if you don't achieve it, you don't get paid. It's not that kind of culture. So it's definitely a culture of performance, delivery, but also that caring. I mentioned earlier that the care, respect, and trust. That's definitely the
mm.
environment that we are cultivating within the group.